Hola, soy Pachi Valencia y les doy la bienvenida a Desde el Capitolio, el puente que conecta a la comunidad hispana con las decisiones del gobierno. Ayer, 4 de marzo, el presidente Donald Trump se presentó ante la sesión conjunta del Congreso. Su discurso de 1 hora y 40 minutos ha marcado el más largo discurso de ese tipo. En él, Trump resaltó los logros de sus primeras 6 semanas en el cargo. Así que en este episodio especial Desde el Capitolio, resaltamos los 10 puntos más destacados de su discurso, que comenzó con la declaración "Estados Unidos ha vuelto" y terminó con un llamado a renovar la promesa ilimitada del sueño americano. Trump elogió los esfuerzos de su administración para asegurar la frontera, habiendo firmado 10 órdenes ejecutivas enfocadas en detener el flujo de inmigrantes ilegales y emprender los esfuerzos de deportaciones masivas en todo el país para eliminar a los criminales violentos que entraron por las fronteras abiertas de la administración anterior. Veamos.
Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president. Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America.
El presidente también destacó al hablar ante el Congreso su orden que designa a los carteles y bandas transnacionales como organizaciones terroristas extranjeras.
Nicaragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever.
Trump también reconoció durante su discurso a varias víctimas de delitos cometidos por inmigrantes ilegales, Laken Riley y Jocelyn Nungaray. Al discurso asistieron familiares de ambas víctimas. Trump resaltó la firma de la ley Laken Riley, la primera firma de su segundo mandato que requiere la detención federal de inmigrantes ilegales acusados de ciertos delitos, así como también el renombramiento de un refugio de vida silvestre cerca de Houston en honor a Jocelyn Nungaray. Escuchemos lo que dijo.
But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. Brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are two illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order? Thank you very much. All three savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua.
En su discurso, el presidente también elogió la labor de Elon Musk al frente del Departamento de Eficiencia Gubernamental, DOGE, que ha anunciado ahorros por más de $105,000 millones mediante cancelaciones de contratos, reducciones de personal e identificación de fraudes y desperdicios.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taking back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. To finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249. And one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going. And it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
Trump dijo que sus políticas comerciales seguirán centradas en los aranceles diseñados para impulsar la inversión extranjera en Estados Unidos y equilibrar los déficits comerciales multimillonarios. Dijo que su objetivo es aportar billones de dólares al nuevo servicio de ingresos externos del presidente. Una serie de aranceles, incluidos impuestos del 25% sobre productos de Canadá y México y del 20% adicionales a los ya impuestos a China, entraron en vigor este 4 de marzo y se prevé que los aranceles recíprocos generalizados entren en vigor el próximo 2 de abril.
If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea, but that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs, over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada, but we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer.
Durante su discurso, Trump también anunció que recibió una carta del presidente ucraniano Volodymyr Zelensky en la que expresa su voluntad de negociar sobre la guerra entre Rusia y Ucrania y que está listo para firmar un acuerdo sobre minerales con Estados Unidos.
Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides.
En torno a sus promesas, el presidente Trump prometió recortes de impuestos generalizados, incluidos los de la renta personal, la corporativa y de la industria. Luego de que el proyecto de ley fiscal de 2017 de los republicanos no lograse hacer permanentes los recortes de impuestos sobre la renta personal, el presidente Trump dijo que está presionando a los legisladores para garantizar que este Congreso lo haga y alentó a los demócratas a unirse a los republicanos para respaldar esta legislación.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there, they're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax cuts. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. Good luck. And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world. And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country. First term. We had a great first term.
Trump dijo que abrirá una nueva oficina de construcción naval en la Casa Blanca para contrarrestar los avances de China en el sector de construcción naval. Estados Unidos, que históricamente ha sido líder en la industria de la construcción naval, ha disminuido su dominio en los últimos años y China ahora representa más del 50% de los pedidos mundiales, según datos de la Conferencia de la ONU sobre Comercio y Desarrollo. El presidente dijo que los incentivos fiscales ayudarán a resucitar esta industria y están destinados a revitalizar la producción de barcos comerciales, militares y reforzar los esfuerzos de la seguridad nacional.
This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it. Just today, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1. But that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Trump también hizo un llamado directo al pueblo de Groenlandia para que se una a Estados Unidos, lo que, según dijo, les beneficiará y mejoraría la seguridad de Estados Unidos y del mundo.
I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America.
Trump también anunció una revolución del sentido común, que incluye principalmente la erradicación de las ideas conscientes o woke del gobierno y de los programas financiados por el gobierno federal.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important. You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never going to let that happen.
Y los demócratas del Congreso, en su respuesta, criticaron a Trump tanto desde dentro como desde fuera de la Cámara de Representantes, donde habló. El representante Al Green, demócrata por Texas, fue escoltado para salir de la Cámara tras ponerse de pie y gritar durante el discurso de Trump. Más tarde dijo que estaba dejándole claro al presidente que, cita textual, no tenía mandato para recortar Medicaid. Trump ha dicho que no tocará Medicaid. Otros demócratas protestaron mientras el presidente hablaba con carteles que decían "Salven Medicaid" o "Miente" y "Musk roba". Algunas congresistas incluso llevaban chaquetas rosas como una declaración sobre el impacto presuntamente nocivo de las políticas de Trump para las mujeres. Tras el discurso de Trump, la senadora Elisa Slotkin, demócrata por Michigan, fue la que dio la respuesta demócrata al discurso de Trump, mientras que el congresista hispano por Nueva York, Adriano Espaillat, presidente del caucus hispano del Congreso, emitió una respuesta en español al discurso del presidente, criticando las políticas económicas y migratorias de la actual administración. Escuchemos.
Esta noche y por los últimos 45 días, escuchamos a un presidente que miente, que ha creado un ambiente de terror en la comunidad inmigrante, que le grita a sus adversarios y se olvida de que todos queremos una nación asequible, segura y respetada en el mundo por sus libertades y oportunidades que ofrece. Cuando Trump era candidato, gritaba a los cuatro vientos cuánto costaba una docena de huevos como metáfora del costo de la vida. Pero hoy no nos habló de qué medidas tomará para bajar la inflación y las tasas de interés. Que esté claro, el costo de una docena de huevos ha aumentado en un 96%. Y cada día que pasa parece más un sueño imposible de alcanzar. Los trabajadores pagan más de la mitad de sus ingresos en rentas altísimas. Estos altos costos interrumpen el sueño de muchos de nuestros jóvenes a comenzar una familia. Empecemos primero con los aranceles. Estos son un castigo a nuestros vecinos, México y Canadá. Trump quiere ser el guapetón del barrio, sin importarle cómo estas medidas impactarán los precios en el supermercado, en la bodega o cuando compremos enseres eléctricos. Queremos una nueva ley de migración que asegure la frontera, que proteja a los soñadores, a los trabajadores agrícolas y que mantenga nuestras familias unidas, familias inmigrantes que buscan ser parte de la prosperidad de nuestra nación. Los demócratas sabemos que la frontera desde Brownsville a San Diego es una región próspera, chambeadora, llena de orgullo nacional y visión económica. Los demócratas en el Congreso estamos unidos en oposición a este desfalco, esta gran traición de los republicanos. Los latinos, los hispanos, vamos a seguir trabajando, aportando al desarrollo económico, apoyando nuestros pequeños negocios y empujando nuestras familias hacia adelante.
Gracias por acompañarnos en este episodio especial en Desde el Capitolio. Y si aún no se ha suscrito a este canal, hágalo ahora y no olvide activar las notificaciones para estar siempre informado sobre lo que sucede en Washington y cómo afecta a nuestra comunidad hispana. Yo soy Pachi Valencia y nos vemos mañana con más información desde el Capitolio. Buenas noches.